This is part 3 of my 3-part series of laptops, trying to help you select the right laptop without making you a PhD in laptops. The biggest challenge most people have is either they pay too much for a laptop with configuration they don't need, or they buy a laptop that will need to be upgraded within the next 18 months. Let me help you make an informed choice on the right one for you. Let's get started. I've identified broadly 6 levels of laptop users. As you move from level 1 to level 6, the configuration and price both go up. You should not only plan for your current usage, but also think about what level of usage you will be at in the next 2 to 3 years. If more than 30% of your activities over the next 2 to 3 years will fall into the next levels, you should consider leveling up. For example, if you're a student today, doing mostly browsing and assignments, but you aspire to learn video editing or game development over the next 2 years, skip level 2 and go straight to level 4 or 5. Otherwise, you will need to change your laptop again in 2 years. After analyzing 150 plus laptops available in the market today, I can say that for level 1, you could even go with a tablet with a keyboard and mouse for more flexibility, and for levels 5 and 6, if you want more power on a limited budget, you should go for a desktop PC instead. Today we will focus on level 3, which is laptops for developers, data analysts and financial analysts. If you want the best laptops for students or gaming laptops or editing laptops, watch the part 1 or part 2 of this series, which I've linked in the description. Now, before we get into my recommendations, let me give you some guidance on where you can potentially compromise if you have budget constraints and where you should absolutely not. Let's start with where you should absolutely not compromise. Don't compromise on the CPU and the RAM. This will define how long you can use your laptop. If you're in levels 4 and above, don't compromise on the GPU and the cooling performance. This will affect your experience of using the laptop for intensive tasks. Intensive workloads need good thermal management or the laptop will throttle. If you're short on budget, you can potentially compromise on the storage. But do not go for HDD type storage. Always go with the SSD. External SSDs are easy to use but not cheap right now due to the macroeconomic situation, but are definitely an option. If you're not a creative, that is you're in level 4 or you don't use the laptop for video or photo editing, you can compromise on the display for non-creative use. You can always upgrade to an external monitor later on when you need it. This level is for software developers, data analysts and financial analysts. In this level, you would have multiple development environments or IDEs, databases, browsers, video calls, all running simultaneously. So for this work, you will need to prioritize the processor speed, the RAM and storage, as well as the number of ports. So look for at least the processors that you see on the screen with a power class or specialization of P or H for Intel, HS or H for AMD. The second thing that matters is RAM and storage. So get minimum 16 GB RAM that can be expandable or 32 GB RAM if it's not expandable. Since some of these applications have a high footprint, you will need at least a 512 GB SSD storage. Since at this level, many users would attach additional monitors or peripherals, the number of ports is key, or you would need to get an accessory to extend the number of ports if they are not inherently available, like in the MacBook Pro. An integrated graphics card is good enough for this use, but you may get some good laptops at a similar price that include a dedicated GPU, although at a lower configuration than that is required for creative users of a gaming. So with an understanding of the base capabilities that you need at this level, my research shows that there are 50 laptops and here are my top recommendations. Rest of the specs you can get the minimums that you see on the screen. You will get good laptops at this level in the range from 70,000 to around 1.3 lakhs. First recommendation is the ASUS Vivobook 16, which uses the Series 2 of the Intel Core Ultra 5, which also brings a dedicated NPU for on-device AI tasks. It has improved efficiency cores and overall better architecture than the 13th generation processors. The 16-inch FHD Plus display, the 16 GB RAM with 512 GB SSD are all suitable for developers. If your plan is to keep your laptop for 4 years or more, the Series 2 architecture and its better AI and efficiency roadmap is a smarter investment for the long term. If you're on a budget under 60,000, you can consider the ASUS Vivobook 15, which I recommended also for a more basic use of levels 1 and 2, but can be stretched into this use for development and coding too. With a 16 GB RAM and a 512 GB SSD, This laptop handles heavy multitasking, coding, 1080p video editing, and demanding productivity work without too much issue. The catch, the body is plasticky and under sustained load, the fans are audible because an H series chip in a slim chassis generates heat. Next recommendation is the HP Victus, which is the only laptop with a dedicated GPU in this list, although it is an older GPU, the NVIDIA RTX 3050, which only supports a 4GB VRAM. The Intel Core i5 13th generation processor with edge specialization is optimized for performance. The 16GB DDR4 RAM and the 512GB SSD are adequate at this level, and the 144Hz display is good for entry-level gaming too. The catch, the GPU is old, so while this is good for the developer and analyst use, it is not suitable for advanced gaming. Next is the Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 3. Unlike the model recommended in the entry-level segment, this one is an Intel Core i7 13th generation processor with 10 cores, a good step up that is required for heavy-duty multitasking, compilation, data processing, and demanding work that this level needs. This does not have a dedicated GPU, which is not required for this use case anyway. My take: for a developer, a data analyst, or a financial modeler who works with large local data sets and wants the extra CPU headroom, the jump from i5 to i7 is worth the price difference here. For general everyday use, the i5 variant is good enough. Lastly, the HP 15 laptop with an Intel Core Ultra 5 processor with 14 cores. This also comes with an integrated GPU, the Intel Arc integrated graphics card, which is already 2 to 3x higher performance compared to the Intel UHD graphics card. So in addition to development and analysis use cases, the laptop is also suitable for casual 1080p gaming. The laptop is more than adequate for a developer or a data and financial analyst whose main use case is not gaming. So which MacBook to use for this level? If you're in the Apple ecosystem and you're looking for a MacBook to pick, then the Apple MacBook Pro is a good choice for you. Sure, you can consider the MacBook Air, but it could buckle under heavy workloads. And you should go with the Pro only if your work involves sustained CPU and GPU usage consistently. The M5 Pro with active cooling removes the one limitation of the MacBook Air. This machine does not throttle under sustained load. Its 24GB unified memory handles 4K video editing, large Xcode builds, and data science workloads quite comfortably without paging. The Liquid Retina XDR display, which is a mini LED display, is the best panel among laptops from a color accuracy point of view, a brightness point of view, as well as the contrast point of view. This laptop is also recommended for the next level, which is for the creative use for video editing and photo editing. If you found this video useful, share the video and subscribe to become part of the 2 lakh plus community that trusts us with their decision making. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.